COVID-19 cases are exploding right now in one of the most vulnerable parts of Southwest Florida. The town of Immokalee now has more than 1,000 cases, which is a lot when you consider the population. It's also got the second highest number of cases when you break it down by zip code throughout all of Florida. But 4 in Your Corner investigative reporter Rob Manch has learned it might not have been this bad if the state health department had acted sooner. Rob?
According to the CDC, the way you stop the spread of COVID-19 is by testing to find people who are positive, tracing to find all the people they came into contact with, and then isolating those people for 14 days. But unfortunately, all of those steps may have come too late to stop Immokalee from becoming a hotspot. It's Wednesday morning in Dr. Antonio Gonzalez's Immokalee office. Nurses are hurrying through the hallways.
I already have 2 patients in the hospital, with pneumonia.
Dr. Gonzalez has another patient waiting, a patient who thinks he might have COVID-19.
When we first started doing, the testing, you could do 10, tests and 2 people will come out. Now I do probably 20 in a day and 20 come out positive. So that's how bad it is.
Dr. Gonzalez is worried. Immokalee is now what he calls a hotspot, a place where the curve is not flattening. And according to the Collier County Commission, they're starting to see the effects in other parts of the county. Right now, 30% of COVID-19 patients at NCH Hospital and 45% of the patients at Physicians Regional are from Immokalee.
If people don't take this seriously, we're going to have a lot of dead people in here.
All the way back on March 16th, mass testing sites were set up in Fort Myers and Naples, but 16 days later, Immokalee still had no testing sites of its own. That's when the coalition of Immokalee workers put this petition online calling for help. But it wasn't the Department of Health that answered first.
Farm workers and packing house workers, they can't work from home. They can't fully mitigate their risk on their way to and from work on buses or public transportation.
Katie Irwin is with the nonprofit Doctors Without Borders. It's an organization that normally works in third world countries, but when they were contacted by the coalition in April, they agreed to come to Immokalee. It's only the second time the organization has worked inside the United States. The only other time was after Hurricane Sandy in 2012. Finally, on May 3rd, the Department of Health, in cooperation with the National Guard, set up this testing site. It was about a month and a half after the governor had declared a state of emergency. The site was open for 3 days, then it was gone, leaving Doctors Without Borders to continue their work.
It's encouraging that the National Guard and the Department of Health have conducted mass testing, but there's also a need to continue on-demand testing.
But the Department of Health didn't bring back that on-demand testing for 26 days until May 31st. By that time, the case number in Immokalee was in the hundreds, and volunteer doctor Seth Holmes was ringing the alarm bell.
Right now, it doesn't feel like it's under control. It feels like it's out of control, and so it doesn't feel like I should leave yet.
This week, with cases now over 1,000 in Immokalee alone, I caught up with the coalition of Immokalee workers to get their reaction.
No es algo nuevo.
What this pandemic has shown is nothing new. If anything, it's just reinforced what we've already known, which is that rural communities like Immokalee typically do not have a lot of resources, are typically not in the top of the totem pole in terms of urgency to want to support them.
That lack of resources have left people like Dr. Gonzalez to deal with the outcome. As he works to test as many as he can in his small clinic, he's urging people to take this seriously.
Using the mask is simple, sanitizing your hands and keeping the social distance will help a lot to prevent this disease from spreading more and killing more people.
And tomorrow, there's even a protest planned outside one of the businesses that operates in Immokalee. The owner of Oaks Farms, Alfie Oaks, has caught backlash for calling the response to the virus a hoax on social media. But Oaks tells us he has his own protest planned to counter what activists are saying. We'll be down there in Naples to cover it all, and we'll bring you the latest on Fox 4 News tomorrow night. In the newsroom, Rob Manch, Fox 4 in your corner.